So all the while you have been doing well, basically. You've been trying your level best to get yourself to become a better person, trying your level best to get yourself to become a better product, to get your brand or your name to get to the next level. But the issue is for each and every good doctrine, there are false prophets. Because each and every good doctrine simply means there is a market that it needs to serve, for a lack of a better word, or there is a need within the society for it to have a people that addresses that specific problem. So the issue then becomes the entrance level of false prophets is that they come seeing the crowds that the message is attracting, and then instead of helping the crowds get across, they help themselves at the desperation of the crowds. So, in order for them to keep you glued to the product that they're selling, which is false, they'll make it whatever that it takes to make sure that at the end of the day, you seem to be the problem and you alone. Now, the crisis with all of this is that imagine if all philanthropists that we have, or people who give, or people who care about the development of other people and making their lives better. Imagine if all those people felt like they're not doing enough. They're helping 30 kids who have no parents. They're helping 30 kids who are homeless. They're helping maybe 60 to the best that they could. And they feel like, no, this is not enough. Let's just leave it. So at the end of the day, we must then look into the possibility of how best do we unify to resolve the problems that society is facing, the discrepancies that speak to the inequality that happens, which ultimately causes some or most of the globe to live most of their lives in poverty. The solution to this thing is bigger than one person, and it is bigger than the narrative of one person. But all of this, because it's a question that ultimately results to an existential crisis due to the many theories that form part of the basic educational systems of the world, this then gives the doorway to false prophet and imposters of self-development to make money out of you. So you need to be careful, so that once you inhale, or rather you put yourself in a position where you want to take in self-development content, can it be more realistic than it is toxic? Because once it becomes toxic, not only does it produce self-harm to you, but it also produces self-hate. So you feel insufficient about systematic issues that are not only oppressing you, but they are oppressing the rest of your race, perhaps. And if not oppressing the rest of your race, they are oppressing the rest of the community that you live in. So, in the division of how oppression happens and in the division of how poverty finds itself as a bedrock to slavery and ultimately a bedrock to capitalism, the divide is set between two structures of philosophical, microscopic study. And that brings us to it's either the class question or the race question. But because that is a bit too far political, we'll get to that. My point seemingly seeks to say to you that there are many other aspects of why you'd find one person poor and why you'd find another person not doing the best that they could or as best as they wish to. And to have an entire industry built on money as the major solution to all your problems, and at the same time you yourself as an individual who needs help as the epicenter of whether if you solve or you fail the goal that you're trying to achieve, that on its own puts the thief, or rather the swindler, in the position of the person who's feeding you the information that you are the main problem to the crisis that the world entirely is facing. So toxic positivity then masquerades itself as a teaching that comes to help you, but it does not help you. It only gets you closer to the noose. It only tosses the rope to you so that you can hang yourself entirely. It brings you to a level where if you fail, you have nowhere else to fall back to but to self-harm. Because if you fall back to self and you say, perhaps I need to rest, hustle culture says, no, you can't rest. You can't sleep 8 hours. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours. And if you say, maybe I should fall back to the fact that I'm from an extremely poor country and the economy is extremely unfriendly to people of my type, then toxic positivity says, no, you have nothing to blame. There was government before then, there's government now, there will always be government then. The decision rests entirely upon you. And then when you come to the fact that you are perhaps a black marginalized person from South Africa, whom their tribes and their ethnic race has faced close to 400 years of oppression before they regained democracy that seeks to reverse the 400 years of oppression and change the tide to their side also so that they can be called equal as a people. Toxic positivity will say, no, but all of that is just an excuse. Politicians have always used this excuse to fail our people. So it brings about a level where denialism is used as a tool to shut down all of the other problems or all of the other reasons why you might not be doing well. And then it elevates the fact that you and you alone as an individual can make it. Then we want to question ourselves, why do we have people who have made it who want to share nothing? It's the content that they take in. In the next video, I want us to discuss the possibility, or rather discuss the reality of the existential crisis that we are faced with, how they came to be, and rather what is the political role in some of the most mentally strenuous questions that we are battling daily. The truth of the matter is, this new age wave that comes as a faith that seems to act like it is here to save us, it only picks out of our minds and our stances of life what we knew to be truth and redefines it to what each individual knows to be truth. The problem with this is that each and every person will then seek a truth that belongs to them. And pleasure has never been part and parcel of what discipline entails. Until next time, let's meet again in the next video and we wrap up the issue of toxic positivity and we sing straight into the next series. Dango.